अथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः. So we are in the chapter of Karma Yoga, and this is giving the rules and the guidelines of how we can lead our lives. Arjuna uvacha jyayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat king karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava. So here it starts off with a question. So the first 8 shlokas are question and answers. So Arjuna gets this doubt. Why Krishna? Arjuna Vacha Jyayasi. He is talking about something which is superior. Chair. If Karmanaha. Te. If you are saying that more superior than action, Mata Buddhir Janardana. Mata Buddhihi, intellect, is referring to the Jnana Yoga here. Janardana. If you think that, better than karma or karma yoga is jnana or the use of the intellect, then tatkin karmani ghorema. Then why do you engage me in this action? Ghorema, that is also this ghastly action. Niyojayasi. That's where he says, why do you engage me? Keshava, O Krishna. So this is a question of how this chapter starts, as we saw. So here he has this doubt because he is coming from this viewpoint that maybe Krishna is telling me that Jnana is more superior, and why can't then I go in that path? If Jnana is superior than karma, then why should I go in this war? So here we saw the mindset of Arjuna. So we also saw that we will always want the answers for whichever mindset we are in. So whichever answer you want is how your question also will be, and your doubts will also be in such a way, because he wants Krishna to say that, oh yeah, you are right, you have to leave this battlefield and then go on the path of jnana. So Arjuna basically wants to leave the battlefield, so this question has come into his mind. Then shloka number 2. व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तदेकं वद निश्चित्य येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम्. So here he says vyamishreneva, which means it is ambiguous or it is apparently ambiguous. Vakyena, your words, buddhim mohayasi iva me. So we said that iva word was very important because he is not directly blaming Krishna for confusing him. He is saying buddhim mohayasi iva me. It appears as though my mind is confused because the words appear to be ambiguous. I'm not saying that you are saying this word, but for me it appears ambiguous. Tadekam vada nishchitya. So tell me one thing, because you are telling me two things. Tell me the one thing. Yena shreyoham apnuya. So in which I will get the shreyas, or I will get the goodness. I will get the good. So here we saw about the shraddha. That is, there are 3 types of shraddhas. That was kushraddha, which was the blind faith, and ashraddha is this no faith in the teacher. So if you are saying that whatever he is saying, I'm going to oppose or I'm going to question, that type of faith is also not advocated. So kushraddha is this blind faith, and ashraddha is no faith, and shraddha is the one which is advocated in our religion, which is take the learning and see if there is you can clarify your own understanding, and ask the teacher or ask somebody to clarify your doubts. So always you should clarify your doubts, but in the right way. So that was shloka number 2. Then shloka number 3. Shri Bhagavan Lokesmin dvividha nishtha pura prokta maya nagha jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. So here he says, Bhagavan Vacha, Krishna says, Lokesmin dvividha nishtha. So he says, I have created these 2 nishtas or these 2 lifestyles Pura Prokta Mayanagha. So as previously explained, in when I started the creation, I have told all this. So about the creation, it will come in the next chapter about his how the avatars happen. So that will come later. So he says, when I created everybody, I have explained all these things. Anagha, that is the sinless one. Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam is the path of jnana for those people who have this renounced lifestyle or the sannyasis, and karma yogena yogina. So karma yoga is for the yogis who are the karma yogis. So who are people in the path of the household. So there are two lifestyles. So what are the two lifestyles we saw is the pravritti marga, which is the householder lifestyle, and the nivritti marga, which is the renounced or the sannyasi lifestyle. So two lifestyles are there, and there are two yogas, which is the karma yoga and the jnana yoga. Path of action, karma yoga, and the path of knowledge, which is the jnana yoga. So the misconception happens when we mix the practice with the lifestyle. And Krishna gives some more shlokas to say that don't mix up the lifestyle from the practice. So shloka number 4. Na karmanāmanārambhāt naishkarmyam purushośnute na cha sanyasanadev siddhim samadhigacchati. So here he says, na karmanāmanārambhāt. So what do people think? Okay, I'm done with this life. I'm done with all these, running around kids. I'm done with taking care of the family. If I go to the forest or if I go somewhere secluded, then I'm going to be enlightened, or I'm going to be, I can be more spiritual. Krishna says no. By not doing anything, you don't get to the state of the spirituality. Only by doing and by crossing that, you get to the state of spirituality. So you must go step by step only. You cannot leave anything. So na karmana manarambhat. So by not doing anything, naishkarmyam, which is actionlessness, is not physical actionlessness. It is in the mind. So this will not be reached. By not doing physically, you cannot get to this naishkarmyam, which is this actionlessness, that cannot be reached. Purushošnute, one person will not attain. Nacha sanyasanat eva. So by renouncing also, siddhim samadhi gacchati. So if a person has not properly done his karmas, if he just escaped because he was lazy, or if he just escaped because he was fed up, that person will not be successful in spiritual life also. But if a person has done all his duties properly, what was given to him, and then he takes up the path of renunciation, then he will be successful. That's what Krishna wants to say here. So there were a few things we saw there at that point. So it says that the environment or lifestyle, it does not decide moksha. And then we saw that doing or not doing, physically doing or not doing, does not decide the moksha. So what actually decides the moksha is the yoga, which is the karma yoga first, and then the jnana yoga, step-by-step process. So this was the points that we saw for this shloka. Shloka number 5. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishthatya karma krit karyate hyavashah karma sarvah prakriti jairgunaihi. So here he says, Nahi kaschit kshanamapi. So if people think that they can escape from doing things, that you can go and sit and meditate, it is an escape from the daily duties, it is not. Because why? Even to maintain the body, you need to work. Some food has to go in, you have to earn for that, or you have to cook, or at least you have to take it from where it is cooked and put it in your mouth. That much action at least needs to be done. You cannot be without working, even for a minute. Jatu, tishtatya karma krita. Jatu means ever. Tishtati akarma krit. Without any action, you can never remain. Karyate hi avashaha karma. Karyate, all these are performed. Avashaha means helplessly. We are doing all these things as though, somebody is just pushing us to do all these things. Avashaha, helplessly, karma. Sarvaha prakriti jair gunaihi. And all these things are born because of the, we saw the gunas or the prakriti, that we will see later in detail, but how it happens and everything. But just for now, we know that all this we are helplessly working because of our gunas. Very simply to understand, see, if you are in rajas, you will be always, you will be thinking of next, 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 next. Your mind will be quickly running. If you are in based in tamas, you will be planning all the time how you can relax, which holiday you can go, which restaurant you can go. All those pleasure bound things will, that planning will be going on. In sattva also, people will keep planning. Can I attend this class? Can I attend that class? Can I learn this? Can I learn that? That will also keep happening. So ultimately, we have to go in a step by step process like a ladder, but we have to leave everything finally. But our mind will keep working based on our gunas, whichever is predominant at that point of time. So Adi Shankara, there we saw that he substituted this Kashchit, someone with this Ajnani, and he said this Ajnani always keeps working because he always thinks that his body, which is him, is doing the work, obviously. So he thinks he's always working. But the Jnani, what he does is because he thinks that I, this I, which is the Atma, is separate from the body, he doesn't do any work. So that was the meaning there. Shloka number 6. कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा ध्याचारः स उच्यते. So karmendriyani samyamya. So this person he is talking about has subjugated all his senses. Yaste manasa smaran. But what he is doing actually, he said, I'm doing puja. He said, I'm going to do meditation. I'm going to chant and this. He closed the room and he went inside. But inside in his mind, he is thinking what lunch they have made today. What am I going to do in the evening? What am I going to wear? I have to go for this party. So all this he is thinking. People in the house are thinking he is doing some great meditation. But poor guy, he inside there, he is thinking about all these things and he is wasting his time. So that person, Krishna is calling the Mithyachari or the hypocrite. So no need to close the room, no need, but your mind should not be active in these worldly things. Even if you are sitting in front of everybody, you can be with, we should be withdrawn from the mind, not just with the objects physically. You have to withdraw from the physical object. That's also a step. But when you decide to withdraw from the physical objects, the mental thing also should follow. So manasa smaran. So he's thinking about all these things. Indriya atman vimudhatma. Vimudhatma, this person is so deluded. He thinks he's doing a big job. He may be showing to other people how spiritual he is, how great he is by, sitting inside and getting time for meditation. But actually he is deluded. He's deluding himself, thinking about the other things in his mind. Mithyacharasa uchyate. So this person's name is called the Mithyachari or the hypocrite or the pretender. So you have to go step by step. This is why Krishna is pointing out this is, if you do not complete the first step, you will not be able to do the second step properly. So wherever you are in life, you must complete that properly and not try to escape from where you are. After completing that, that path itself will come to you when you complete everything properly in your life. That was shloka number 6. यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् आसक्तः स विशिष्यते. So here Krishna says, finally after talking about all these people who are going wrong with everything, then he says, what can I do? If Arjuna says, what can I do, Krishna? I don't want to be this Mithyachari. I want to, properly go step by step. Then what should I do? Then he says, you have to control your senses. There is no escape from this route. Everywhere you read, they will say you have to control your senses. So that is very obvious. So control your senses. Then what must happen along with the control of the senses? You must control your mind. So these two things as a preliminary step is very important. Then the path of Karma Yoga, So after we have controlled the senses and we have brought this mind into control, then we are engaging with the world, right? So every time we are engaging with the world, again this for us, this raga dvesha, this imprints are happening to us. When we go out, when we speak to anybody, when we go and when we do things, it is natural for us to be pulled to this like and dislike. So there should be some strategy to escape from this. And the strategy given by Krishna is Karma Yoga, which is basically meaning having equanimity in what you are doing. So rather than saying, I like this, I don't like this, okay, this is given by God to me today. Let me do it properly. Okay, if the worst of things happen to me today, that is fine. This is given by God, and maybe it is for a reason. So if we take it that way, then we are escaping from all these imprints in our mind. So when we go in the path of spirituality, why? Because these things will run after us. Even when we go to spirituality, the likes and dislikes are going to keep running after us in our mind. We have to escape from this. We have to make our mind peaceful. For that, you have to follow Karma Yoga. And then this person is far superior to whom? The person who locked himself in the room and said who was meditating and thinking about the lunch and the dinner. Compared to that, this person who is on the ground doing his duty with equanimity is far superior. So that is Krishna's message. Shloka number 7. Shloka number 8. नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्म ज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः. So here he says, again he emphasizes for all the lazy people, not doing action is never an option. So niyatam kuru karmatvam. So constantly perform your duties. In which way? In the way which has been told by the dharma. In what has been laid on in the by law, we have to follow it by law. Why? Everywhere in society you have to follow some kind of law. If you have to drive on one side of the road, you have to drive on that side of the road. If you have to pay the taxes, you have to pay. Why? Because that is a law, and that is what will take care of the well-being of everybody and yourself as well. So we have to obey the law of dharma and niyatam kuru. So we have to do our duties. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jyayo hya karmanah. So karma is much better than not doing. So if you see, if you think about not doing, better than that is karma. Doing is much better. Because even if the gunas way we will say it is tamas, you are lazy, you are not doing, at least you are doing something. That is far superior. So do your karma, which is much better than inaction. Because what will happen? Sharira yatra pichate. Sharira yatra meaning the maintenance of the body that he previously said also. It cannot happen. Na prasiddhyed akarmana. So if you don't do anything, you can't even maintain your body. Krishna, what are you saying? Arjuna is going to say, okay, not doing is not an option. Then you say do the action. But when I do the action, you say you will get bonded by it. Then what should I do? He says about the karma yoga, right? Last chapter itself, second chapter, he starts to ask people to do the karma yoga, which is superior to karma. And here in this shloka, we saw that there was 4 types of karmas. Basically, niyatam kuru, because they are talking about the karmas itself. 4 types of karmas are there. The nishiddha karma, or the prohibited acts, which are the unlawful things. You in the law, if it says you should not steal, you will be in jail. Same thing will apply. So spiritually, this is the code of conduct. So don't do the things which is not prescribed in our scriptures. Prayaschitta karma. Prayaschitta karma, we said we can do it, no problem, because they don't technically come under the karma yoga, because you are expecting a result out of the prayaschitta karma. You have done some bad deeds in the past, you can seek, you can say sorry, and you can do something, and you can recover yourself in this lifetime. But it should be performed very seldom. And kamya karma, desirous acts are okay for the householders, and it should be performed with the act of prasada buddhi, or with the arpana to God, one of those things. That is why in those days they never used to go for outings or anything. Everything was a pilgrimage. When they have to go out, they will say, I'm going to visit this temple, and they will go. Everything was related to God only. They never did anything for themselves. All the parties they used to say, oh, this for this puja I am calling, or something related to God was always there in what they practice. So this is the not doing for yourself, but you have to involve God in everything you do. And similarly, like we are, if we want to enjoy some sweets or something, we do it for the sake of Ishvara, and then we take it. So that is not wrong. And then Nitya Naimitika Karma, which we saw that our daily duties, which must be performed the Karma Yoga way, and Nitya Karmas must be performed, that is whatever daily duties we have, and Naimitika Karma are like obligations we have, that also has to be performed the Karma Yoga. So the four things we saw there. And then Shloka number 9. यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर. So the similar thing is being continued here. Yajnartat karmanonyatra. So yajnartat is here substituted to Ishvara. Other than for Ishvara, don't do anything. Karmanonyatra. Lokoyam karma bandhana. Otherwise, what happens? You get bonded. It looks very nice and happy now, but actually you are putting yourself in a big hole. You are going to get bonded with this. So you have to do everything only for the sake of Ishvara. Tadartam karma kaunteya. For that only, for Ishvara's sake, you do it. Mukta Sangha Samachara. When you are doing your duty, you do Mukta Sangaha. That is, do it free from attachment, and Samachara. Do it properly. Don't do it half-heartedly, or don't do it for the sake of doing it. Whenever you say you are doing for the sake of Ishvara, automatically the dedication will also come. So that is why we have to put Ishvara and everything. So Yajna vai Vishnu we saw. Yajna is Vishnu himself, which has been said in the Vedas. So we should not prefer one duty or the other. We should not expect the results for the duties. We should relinquish the rights that come with the duties. For non-duties, the Kamya karma associated with God, and limit the Prayaschitta karma, and the Nishida karma, don't do it all. So it's a summary of what we saw. And so four things were said. Yajnarthat, otherwise it will be Karbamaddanaha, do your duty, Mukta Sangaha, and Samachara. Shloka number 10. Saha yajñāः prajā sriṣṭvā purovaca prajāpatihi anena prasavishyadhvam yeshavostvishta kamadhuk. So here he says about how the creation happened. So when Brahma created, Saha yajñāः prajā sriṣṭvā. So when Brahma created the mankind, Prajapatihi, Brahma, so what did he do? He created mankind along with the sacrifices. Anena prasavishyadvam. So he said, there is a way for you to become prosperous, O mankind, which is by doing the yajnas. And by this, you will get the prosperity, and let this be the bestower of all the wishes for you. This is what Brahma said when he created the mankind. So here we saw that there are 5 kind of yajnas that we must do every day along with our duties, which is called the Panchamaha yajnas. One is the Deva yajna, that we must do the offering for the God every day. And Pitra yajna, we must do the offerings for our Pitrus, which is very important. Nowadays, people losing faith in the Pitra yajna, but it is very, very important. It is said in our Shastras that we must do whatever is needed to satisfy our Pitrus. And the Rishi Yajna, which is the reading the works of the Rishis, like the great works of them, that's how we pay the tribute to them. And also spreading the knowledge is like a form of Rishi Yajna. And Manushya Yajna is to serve others, especially those who are not in a good position, and those who need help. So we must be very kind to those people. And Bhuta Yajna, which is the feeding of the nature or feeding of other creatures around us. So this was said in Shloka number 10. Shloka number 11. Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantah shreyah paramavapsyatha. So here he says, what will keep you moving? He's talking about the cycle of life. So Devan Bhavayatanina. So Devan are the lesser gods compared to the Ishvara. So there are several gods. How it has been described is these Devas are Devas meaning the nature itself. So everywhere in the world they used to have this the Sanatana Dharma, the eternal Dharma of us. Everybody, all the Greeks, the Egyptians, everybody worship nature. Said to be, it's supposed to be one religion at that time, were worshipping the nature as gods. So these are the devas that are being talked about here. Devan bhavayatanin. So you worship the gods. That means you take care of those gods. You protect the nature. And parasparam bhavayantaha. In turn, they will please you. They will give you rain. They will give you all the things that is needed for your prosperity. So Shreyaha Param Avapsyatha. So by this, by mutual giving, they will give you, you will give. Like that, there will be a cycle and everybody will be prosperous. Message is that we must protect the nature. And we also saw this Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. So if you protect Dharma, it will protect you. Similarly, if you protect the nature, they will protect you. So that was the concept. Shloka number 12. इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवाः दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविताः तैर्दत्तानप्रदायैभ्यः यो भुङ्क्तेस्तेन एव सः. So what happened here after that? He said this is how it was created. But then of course, man being man, he became very selfish. And then he was thinking that he is the controller of everything. I will control the environment. I will litter everywhere. I don't need to take care of the rivers and do whatever I want. I will do all this pollution, and then it started hitting back. Now we see that. So Ishtan Bogan hi vo devaha. So all the desired necessities these devas will give you. Dasyante yajna bhavitaha. When you do the sacrifice to them, when you take care of them, they themselves will grant you everything, what you need. Taidattana apradayebhyaha. So if you don't do that, what is going to have the consequence? Yo o bhunte stena eva saha. So you are becoming actually a thief. You are not, don't think you are so superior. You are actually a thief. Thief not meaning physically stealing from anybody. Thief meaning not giving back to the nature, to, not keeping the cycle moving. You are a selfish person. You are also a thief. So that is what will happen, and you will not be happy in the end. So you should never take anything free, and you should always give back. You should have this attitude of this prasada buddhi and share with the people who are lower than you. That is very important. Shloka number 30. Yajnashishtashinas santah muchyante sarvakilbishaihi bhunjate te tvagham papaha ye pachantyatmakaranat. What do the people who are spiritually minded do? They first give as an act of sacrifice to the gods, to the devas. So they will give as a sacrifice. And those people are released from all kinds of sins. When we are householders, we do some sins. We saw that there were 5 things that unknowingly, knowingly we do a lot of things. Unknowingly also we incur a lot of sin. And we saw that when we are doing household things, which was called khandani, cutting or crushing, peshani, which was the grinding, chulli, lighting the fire, udakumbi, bringing the water, marjani, which was sweeping the house, we were killing a lot of organisms and things. We are incurring some sin with that. When you are doing spiritually minded, when you are offering it to God and when you are offering it to the devas, then you are released from all kinds of sins. Bhunjate te tvagham papaha. Others who are cooking for their own enjoyment, to think this food is yummy, I cook and eat for myself. What are those people doing? Ye pachantyatma karana. They only eat there for sin. Even though at that moment of time it is appearing very delicious, what you are eating is basically sin if it has not been offered. That is what is the shloka number 30. Shloka number 14. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyatanna sambhavah yajnad bhavati parjanyah yajnah karma samudbhavah. So here he talks about the cycle of how everything has come about. So our bodies are depending on food. So the Panchabhutas or the five elements are the food, and also it is the body. So we assimilate this food and our bodies are depending on this food. And then the food is coming from the rains. And where is the rains coming from? It is coming from the punyam. Though it is said as apurvam, it is coming from the punyam. And where is this punyam? Punyam is depending on the karma. In karma again, where is it? It is coming from the body. So how the cycle is completed is like this. We are eating the food and the food is coming from the rain. The rain itself is coming from the dharma we do. That's why when there is no rain, they say that there is a lot of we need to do more good acts. So the rain will come and farmers, it will be, they'll get good harvest and prosperity will increase. So that's why we have to contribute to that also. And this based on karma. So all our karmas, if they are clean, then we will have good prosperity for everybody. We should think about everybody. Shloka number 15. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishthhitam. So he says that, okay, we are saying follow the Vedas, follow the path of Dharma. Where does this path of Dharma come from? This law that we are trying to say is come from the Vedas. So Vedas we know is divided into two parts. First is the Karma Kanda part, the 3/4 of the Vedas, and the last part is called the Upanishad or the Jnana Kanda, from where our real meaning for existence is described there. So the Karma Kanda part is giving us all the lawful things that we must do in this life. And in the second chapter, it appeared as though Krishna was condemning the Karma Kanda. Why he was condemning the Karma Kanda? Because at that point, he started from the highest level. See, everything will be in levels in our religion. That's why there is so much confusion. There is something to satisfy every person's level. So, second chapter, Krishna starts with the highest level, where he wants people to get liberation. He wants Arjuna to get liberation. He wants everybody to get liberation. So from that point of view, karma kanda may appear a little bit, inferior. It's not inferior. It is a path. It is a way, stepping stone to getting into Jnana Yoga. Actually, karma kanda is very useful. At that point, it is not useful. For the Jnani, it is not useful. That is why karma kanda was condemned. Like it appeared. This law itself is coming from the Vedas. The Vedas have come from God Himself, and whatever is the law in the Veda, the karma that is prescribed in the Veda is God Himself. So when you are doing your duties properly, you are appeasing God. Directly, you are appeasing God. That's what He wants to say. So when He says, Karma Brahmodbhavam Vidhi. So the duties for the human beings are in the Vedas. Brahmakshara Samudbhavam, where the Vedas have come from, it has come from God Himself. That is why there is no book. They used to have mouth to mouth, only then it was transferred. It has directly come from God. So Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma. And therefore, the eternal present all being God is there in the karma that you do. Nityam yajna pratishtham. So worship it as God. Do everything and say that this is God itself, because this is what God has said. So if you follow what the teacher has said, you are appeasing the teacher, right? Similarly, you are appeasing God by doing your duty properly. So there also we talked about the faults of the man's mind. We said Brahma, the mankind, they are born with some defects. What is it? That is the Brahma. We get delusion. We get deluded. We go in the wrong path. Pramadaha. Sometimes we become very careless. We just waste our life in vain. So that pramada, that guna is there for human beings. Karana apatavaha. We saw that there is a disease in our sense organs. Sometimes we are looking at something with some colored glasses. Sometimes blue glasses, sometimes green glasses. So this some mistake is there in the way we see things. And then vipralipsa. That is we can lead people in the wrong direction. We can lead people that is astray. So all these defects are there, but Veda is said to be apaurusheyam, which is above any faults, because it has directly come from the God. And then we must have faith in this. This is shloka number 15. Shloka number 16. Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayati hayah aghayurindriya ramah mogham partha sajivati. So he says, if you say that I will not follow this, that is fine. Krishna will say it's fine for me. What will happen to this person? That is his problem. What is going to happen to this person who says that I don't believe in the Vedas, I don't believe in what Krishna has said, I don't like his teaching, it is not practical. If you say those things, no problem for Krishna, all the problem will be for us, because you will be Aghayuhu, who is full of sins. Indriya Ramaha, you are only existing in sense gratification. And Mogham, you will uselessly waste this life. That is the worst wastage of all. People are so scared about wasting the food and wasting one real or money here and there. What about the life which is getting wasted? That nobody cares about. So this is what will happen to a person who is not going the spiritual path. And so with this shloka number 16, he finishes Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga started right in chapter 2, where he started with shloka number 47, Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhuhu ma te sankostva karmani. So here he said, what did he say? You have the right to work only, not to the fruits, and don't be attached to the fruits, and don't be attached to not doing work, and don't think you are the doer also. The other interpretation was also that till you get chitta shuddhi, you have the right to work only. And without work, you cannot go to a higher plane and do this work, therefore, without the attachment and desire for results. Because he assessed Arjuna and he said, okay, now I'm assessing you. You don't have that, you have not got it in you yet. So do your work properly. Like that, also, there is an interpretation for this. And then he said in shloka number 48, Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So this was also very important shloka where we talked about equanimity. This is one of the most important shlokas in Karma Yoga. Equanimity in duties, equanimity in results, equanimity and relinquishing of the rights that come with the duties, equanimity and prasada buddhi for kamya karma. So this was the shloka, very important shloka. Then shloka number 50, he said, Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite tasmat yogaya yujyasva yoga karma sukaushalam. So this is also very important. He talked about yoga karma sukaushalam. That karma yoga, doing karma yoga only is art and work. Not your efficiency, not your talent, not your intelligence, not your position, not your power. Even if you have a sweeper's job, if you are able to do it in the Karma Yoga way, then I will give you marks. That's what Krishna is telling. I'm not going to look at your bank balance. I'm not going to look if you're the CEO of a company. But what are you doing in life? Are you doing the Karma Yoga way? That is art for me, he says. And then Buddhi Yukto Jahati hai. So by having this Karma Yoga, Jahati, you will get rid of, you have to get rid of even the happiness and the dukkha. Getting rid of is to transcend this. So that is the ultimate goal. So that you will get only by doing Karma Yoga. Therefore, Arjuna, please do this Karma Yoga so that you will be skillful in your life. Skillful, the metrics in which materialistically we measure, it is not there in our spirituality. So, what Krishna is telling is for our real advancement. All the other things which are existing in this world, we are only getting bonded to it more and more. So, if you want to progress, then we have to follow the Karma Yoga. Then he says, Shloka number 52, Yada te moha kalilam buddhi vyatitarishyati tata gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. So this is Karma Yoga Palan. So what is the fruit? Is the Vivekam. When you are following Karma Yoga, what are you? People will say, okay, what will I get? What will I get? There also there is an answer. What you will get is Vivekam, which is the ability to differentiate between what is good and what is not good. What you're thinking is good is really not good. So please learn to differentiate between good and bad, what is really important and what is not important in life, and stop going behind the things which really don't going to matter in a very long term. So that buddhi you will get by following the Karma Yoga, and you will get the Vairagyam, which is the ability to say no to the things that are not important, which and we will not be impulsive in running behind the things that we don't need. So yada te moha kalilam, when you get over all this delusion, this dense forest of delusion, buddhir vyatita rishyati tata gantasi nirvedam, you will become so indifferent. Indifferent means not indifferent to people. You will get indifferent with what is coming to you in your life, good or bad. You will move away from all this thing of sticking around to good and not wanting the bad. You will totally, your mind will move away from all those things. Shrotavyasya shrutasya, from the past or the future you will not be affected. Everything will be fine in your life. So this is what he is saying. So the shlokas 8 to 16 actually are called the Karma Yoga shlokas in chapter 3. And the shlokas, what I said, 47, 48, 50 and 52 are Karma Yoga shlokas from chapter. Then after that, Krishna moves to this next topic. यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते. Actually 17 and 18 are the moksha swarupam, about moksha swarupam. So everywhere what Krishna will do is he will tell everything, then he will put this slokas about moksha, he will insert it. He will keep reminding us, look, this is the final destination for you. So he will keep putting these shlokas to remind us, okay, this is the destination, this is the destination, this is the destination. So 17 and 18 are the shlokas about the moksha swarupam or the jiva mukta lakshanam. So yes, here he says, how does the jivan mukta or the one who is enlightened behave? Yastvat maratireva syat. So the one who will rejoice in himself, he doesn't want any material things. Atma triptascha manavaha. So he is fully satisfied in himself. So atmanyeva cha santushtaha. So he is content in himself. Tasya karyam na vidyate. So if people say, when should I stop this karma yoga? When should I stop doing my duties? He says, if are you satisfied in yourself? Are you independent of everything? Are you content totally in yourself and not running behind anything? Then you can stop your duties. If you are that, You have reached that level, then you can stop your duties. Otherwise, you have to do your duties. You have to do everything what Krishna has said that we must do. So that was shloka number 17. And then shloka number 18. Naiva tasya krite narthaha na krite neha kaschana na chasya sarva bhuteshu kashchadarthau yapashrayah. So this person who is this jnani or the Jivan Mukta, naiva tasya kritena artha. So here he wants to relate everything with action. So when I can stop all these duties, Krishna, running behind everything and doing for my children and doing for my family, everything, when you are totally satisfied in yourself and you have gone to that elevated state, then only you can stop your duties. By doing the duty also, this person feels he doesn't gain anything. He is not doing anything for promotion. He is not doing anything because somebody has to praise him. He will not do it in such a for that. And if he didn't do, if somebody said, "Oh, you're so lazy, you just sit and meditate," that time also he is not going to get affected by that statement, or by not doing, or okay, today I didn't see the stocks, oh, it fell down like that. That is no thought like that for him, because by not doing anything, he doesn't. If he has lost, also he is not bothered about it. So that person, he does not depend on any other living being selfishly also to fulfill his self-interest. So he is not dependent on anything, and he is doing or not doing anything does not affect. That was shloka number 18. Shloka number 19. Thus, again, he will emphasize you have to do your duty properly, you have to do your duty properly. That's what he has repeated message. Shloka number 19. Tasmadasaktas satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hyacharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. So here he says, therefore, Arjuna, do your duty in this way. This is what I have been always telling you. Asaktaha. Only 3 words I am telling you now as a summary. Asaktaha. Do your duty unattached. And satatam. Do this constantly. Don't do it one day unattached, then another day you get attached. Don't do it like that. Constantly try to do it. At least try to do it. And samachara. Do it perfectly and do it fully. Don't do half and half. So this was the conclusion there. Then he goes to this next topic. Shloka number 20. Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim asthita janakadayah lokasangrahamevapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. So here what Krishna wants to say basically in this chapter is he wants to give the importance of Karma Yoga. In the second chapter, he wanted to give the importance of Jnana Yoga, but how people understand, they think, they get confused. This is also there, that is also there. That is not the case. It is addressing your level. Wherever you are, Gita has everything that will address all levels. So you will progress. The point of Gita is to progress from wherever you are. It doesn't matter wherever you are in life. But how can I move one step ahead? All the strategies are given here. So, oh, I am not able to think of myself not as a body. I am not able to think. That is not the point. You read it, then see what from this Gita, what I can follow to improve myself. So that is the point. So Krishna here in this chapter, he has come down one level, like to people. Okay, Jnana, I talked the highest level. Now I will give the importance of karma here, so that people can improve their lives. Improving lives is the main message of the Gita. It is not like I cannot do it. We should not get disillusioned or like give up. How can I go one more step ahead, or how can I progress spiritually? So here he wants to say that how important is it? So he's trying to give all kinds of examples for people who have done Karma Yoga. And he is giving this example of King Janaka, who was a big jnani, and also he is doing the Karma Yoga. Why? Because of several reasons. Krishna says, Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim. So by the performance of duties only, siddhim, he attained perfection. Who? Janaka. So the interpretation here is he performed karma yoga, then he got the jnana, then he did jnana yoga and he attained perfection. But even after attaining perfection, after attaining siddhi, he still continues to do his duty, but as a jnani. Why should you do that is the question. So Krishna's answer is to set a good example in the world. Because everybody will think, okay, I have to go in the path of jnana. There have to be some people who have to teach. So people like that, jnanis, great jnanis, will teach us how to live properly, and that was done by Janaka. So Loka Sangraham. So the concept of setting a good example to the world is given here. Loka Sangrahamevapi Sampashyan Kartumarhasi. So then considering that also Arjuna, you should do. If Arjuna had said, no, I am a jnani, how can you tell I am not a jnani? I will go in the path. For that the answer is no. Even assuming you are the jnani, you must do for the sake of Loka Sangraham, because you have to go set a good example for others. Then shloka number 21. यद्यथाचरति श्रेष्ठः तत्तदेवेतरो जनः स यत्प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्तदनुवर्तते. So why people have to set examples? Because people will always follow the great people. Whatever they do, they will follow. So the great people, like Kohli, he said that I will not do adverts for these soft drinks, because he wanted to set an example for all the youngsters not to have the Coke and the Pepsi and all. So if people who are in the great position, they think like that, there will be goodness happening in the society. The jnanis, if they do it, obviously they are going to set the good example. So the person who is setting an example also has to be an elevated person, not somebody who just wants importance. So that is 21. Then shloka number 22. Na me parthasthi kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptamavaptavyam vartayeva cha karmani. So here he says, he gives himself as an example here. See here, Namaya Bhartasti Kartavyam. I have no duty at all, Arjuna. Trishu Lokeshu Kinchana. In any of the worlds, like I can relax. I can just be on my couch and just watch Netflix. I can do that. But why I don't do it? There is nothing to be gained by me. Why will I have anything to be gained? Varta eva cha karmani. I am doing all these things, just to be an example for others. And also, there will be consequence. If one person doesn't do the duty, there will be consequence, which is in sloka number 23. Yadi hyahannavarteyam chatu karmanya tandritaha mama vatmanuvartante manushya partha sarvashah. So he says, if I didn't perform the duties, then people will follow. Mama vartma anuvartante. Mama vartma is my path. Anuvartante, they will follow. Manushyaha partha sarvashaha. They will follow me as an example. So that is one drawback. Another drawback is shloka number 24. Utsideyurime lokaha na kuryang karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyamimah prajaha. So what will happen? Utsideyurime lokaha. So the utsideyuhu meaning it will perish. All the lokas, all the worlds will perish. Na kuryang karma chedaham. If I do not perform my prescribed duties, sankarasya, meaning it will cause confusion, kartasya, so I would be the cause of all this confusion, and it would lead to the destroyal of all these people. So if there is a consequence. First of all, they will imitate me. People will become lazy. Second thing is, what he wants to say is the importance of one person not doing their duty. If one person in the family doesn't do their duty, the whole family will see the effect of it. So we are all responsible for other people. So if Krishna feels responsible, in our own small ways, we are all responsible for the other people who come in contact with us. So we have to be responsible and not be lazy and do things properly so that we will take care of others as well as we will do good for everybody. So that is the sloka number 24. Then sloka number 21. सक्ताः कर्मण्य विद्वांसः यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद् विद्वांस्तथा सक्तः चिकीर्षुर्लोकसङ्ग्रहम्. So here he says that there are two kinds of people, right? One person who is this ignorant person, saktaha, karmanya vidvamsaha, so who are attached and they keep going about their lives. So these are the ignorant people. And the other person is vidwan, the wise people who are who he says, okay, you are the wise person, you do your duty unattached. And also the second thing what he's trying to say, do it for the welfare of the world. So think about the bigger picture. Don't think about yourself all the time. So if you are doing your duty unattached and do it for the welfare of the world. So there is always this question about how you should do your duty. If what you are doing is doing good for everybody, then it is the right track. You are in the right track. And if you are unattached, you are in the right track. Only two things. It must not harm anybody. What you are doing must not harm anybody, and don't get attached to what you are doing. So only two things. So 26. Na buddhi bhedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yuktas samacharan. So here he says, basically he's talking about the jnanis, who he must advise and everything. Na buddhi vedam janayet. Some people don't like to be disturbed. They are going in their own track. Those people don't go and try to advise them. If they are going in their own path, let them go. At least what they are doing, they must do it properly. And for that, we must motivate them. We can just inspire them to do their whatever they are doing. But this going and advising people, that he says, don't do. A lot of times Krishna will say this, no, don't go and unsettle the minds of people who are in one particular level. They cannot jump one level. So for those people who are attached to the body, who are seeking pleasure, don't go and talk to them about vairagyam and self-control. So for them, inspire them to do whatever they are doing, but in a better way. And for the people who are like mumukshus, who are wanting this path, then for them you can have all these discussions, and you can have the satsang, and you can, talk more about this vairagyam and Bhagavad Gita, and then it will work. They will be more motivated. But if you tell a person who is very much attached to pleasures and everything, it will not work. So don't go and unsettle the minds of those people. Buddhi bhedam janayet ajnanam karma sangina. Instead of that, what you can do to do good for him, joshayet sarva karmani, inspire him to do all the duties, vidvan yukta samacharan. By you yourself doing, always the responsibility comes back to you. You have to inspire how, not by going and criticizing him or not by going and advising him. If you do properly, one day or the other, even with kids, they will know that, oh, mom always or dad, they always followed the right path and they did their duties properly. So that will come to them at some stage rather than going and troubling and advising them constantly. We should take responsibility and do our duty properly. So that's what Krishna is telling us. 26.